Welcome back to Oxygen Not Included. My name is Nilaus, and we are going to talk about food, both the food making, but also primarily actually the food storing. So some time ago, maybe that's even years ago, but I haven't played for a while. It was changed so that you can't just store food in carbon dioxide or chlorine, and then it'll be all good. You actually need to freeze it now. So I actually put it in the fridge, and it was all happy. But unfortunately, that turns into rot piles, and it turns into clay, and that's not really what I want. Or dirt, I think it is. Polluted dirt. So that's not what I want. I want to make sure that we have a better storage, and I want to combine it. So what we're going to do today is we are going to replace sort of my default basic this thing here with something that's better. So we have prepared a little location here where we can start working on this. It'll be a short little guide, and hopefully it'll be useful for you. The first thing I do is set up the food production. You can have 2 of these. Unfortunately, I haven't found a way to make 3 of those and make that all work. So you can basically have the grill and then maybe a musher or grill and a gas grill if that's what you want. The idea is that this will be storage in the safe storage part, and this one up here will be the production. So in order to transfer things, we want to automate the transfer of whatever we want here. Now they should say that this is not necessarily a starter build because I'm using steel tiles here. You can also use aluminium if you have that, or you can use another metal. I'm using steel because I have steel available, and it has the highest, that's one of the highest heat transfers. Aluminium is by far the best if you have that available. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that we build some fridges down here. Now these are not going to be hooked up, because if they're hooked up then they will count as refrigerated. Here, let's have a look at this first, because I think this is kind of the easiest way to look at it. Let's find some food actually, if we have some. Here, some Swampy Delights. There we go. It changes per cycle -6%, because it's -3 for being refrigerated, and it's -9 for being normal. If it was not in the fridge, then it would be -9 for the not refrigerated food, and then another -4 for the normal atmosphere. So we can negate the normal atmosphere debuff by putting it in either chlorine or carbon dioxide, and we can negate the refrigerated part by making it frozen. So that is definitely what we want to do. So that's what we're going to be working on down here. We need to cool things down, so I will be using here. Actually, I want to close that one off because we have a gas vent right here that we don't want to get in here. Then I'm going to get at this location a gas vent out here. Should we just build it like this? Not yet, because I don't have it closed off just yet. So that will be a thing. What we are also going to do is we need to get our food in here. And I have, from my centralized storage, which you can see in another episode, how I do my centralized storage, I'll be taking all of the food products and putting it down here. So it goes in here, and then it gets distributed by this one into all these locations. Now I do need to be able to let the dupes come in here and pick up things, and I'm going to close that one off. So I need to build just a few of these down here so that they can actually get in. But if they're standing on this one, they can reach these 3, but they can't reach the outer one. That's not a problem, because we'll put stuff out here that they will never need to get. Stuff that I will only be transferring through the mechanical, the sweeper here. So that's not a problem. I will also be getting a transport out. This will mainly be in the beginning, just to make sure that if there are any rot piles spawning, then I'll be able to get them out from here and into that one. Or if there's something I don't want to have in here, then we can also do it. This is not as important, but again, this just goes back on my main line, back into the centralized storage, just to take care of that. Now, with this being done, then we are kind of, if we close this off and start pumping carbon dioxide in, well, we should be good, right? But we need the cooling, and cooling is the hardest part. Now, there is a few ways to cool. There's the thermoregulator and the thermo aquatuner. Thermo aquatuner is ridiculously good. But in this case, we actually don't need a lot of cooling, so I'm going to use just this little one here, the thermoregulator. Thermoregulator is dissipating heat around it, but it is then cooling the resource in the pipe. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do like that, and I'm going to do like this. Yeah. Then, oh, actually, might bypass it. And I will be showing you, then I'll switch, and then this is again where if you have aluminium, use aluminium. Yeah, I don't have aluminium, so I'm going to use steel. That's weird. There, and then that one goes here, so then it doesn't override. Good, so I now have high transfer rate in here for cooling, and then of course closed here. Then I want to make sure that this loop is continuously running. So this is where we do a trick. We do a bypass, that one. And what this does is that it comes in here, and if the regulator is turned on, then it will jump into the thermal regulator and come out here and continue on this loop. But if the thermal regulator is turned off, it'll continue one more tile and leap over and then continue. So either way, it has a directionality and it can flow all the way through. What I then need to do is make sure that I have, let's see. I'll do that one just to make sure, and I will have a gas thermo sensor here, which will be monitoring the temperature. There we go. This gas thermo sensor is going to be... it's going to be hot. Okay, so this will be taking primarily rock piles. If we do that, let's see, that's the only thing that is probably going to spawn in here. Yeah, I mean, we'll just do anything organic in here. That shouldn't happen. So I think the first thing we want to do is now close off that location. Let's close this off and also build our bridge, gas bridge, that one, and then build a gas bridge there. Get those sorted, and then we can start on the next part, the actual cooling loop. Here, that gas bridge should be getting done, and I should be coming in with some hydrogen that I have prepared in advance. I'm going to set this to being minus 20. I mean, minus 18 is probably enough, but let's do minus 20 just because. So what happens now is that it comes in here. It detects that it is more than minus 20 degrees. It's coming in at 20 degrees. And then it subtracts... how much is it subtracting? 14 degrees coming out here. And then it starts cooling this. And it's going to need a lot of loops before it actually is happy. We can take this one out because it just needs to have a closed loop. This is just a closed loop that runs around. And I'll have to do nothing about this aside from this. In this location, you can see that it's probably easier if we do it like this. Let's go gases here. So what we see is that we still have some oxygen in here, but gradually this one will the carbon dioxide will push it in here, and then anything else will be pushed out. It's going to take a while, but as long as we have the lower two tiles here filled up with carbon dioxide, there is really no problem. And gradually it will reach a balance between up and down, and you can already see now that it's pretty dominant on the carbon dioxide down here. There's just these little tiles that might need to be squeezed out, but if there's a little tile of oxygen up here, that doesn't matter, and you can actually already see that that has been done. In terms of the cooling, then we can see that it's already now sending hydrogen in here at minus 1 degree, and it's coming out at 12 degrees. So there's a lot of cooling going on already in here. Most of it goes into the metal tiles, but once the metal tiles will then transfer up into the refrigerators, and it's now time for us to get the resources in. So what I'm going to put in here is all of the cooking ingredients, and then I'm going to take all of the non-finished products in this grub fruit, and I might miss one, and whatever, I might miss one. Pacu fillets as well. Come on. Click. Yes. Just the autosave at the beginning, and that should be good. So I'll copy that over to that one. Then the other ones will take all of the finished products: cooked seafood, fried mushroom, frost buns, grub fruit preserve. Let's see, nutrient bars, that's a finished product. Omelets, pickled meat, the roasts, not spindly grub fruit. Oh, okay, I made a mistake on the other one. That one. And these will be the inner ones. This one was a mistake, and not the roast, but the spindly, and go out here. So we now have that. What I need to do at this location is then take out our old stuff here, and then have you just basically taking everything in here. That will transfer everything back to our location, and then it will eventually come in here by itself as we continue on the cooling loop here. So this is now we can also replace it, so we have to make sure that we have some things Build, I'll build this forever. I mean, all these should just be forever. If you have them, then make them. With a few notable exceptions. Being the frost buns. Don't make the frost buns if you haven't, because you're going to be using the last sleet wheat grain and then you can't harvest them again. So that's a bit unfortunate. Same goes for tofu. Be careful about just setting this to forever, because then you'll use all the nush beans instead of using them to replanting. So this goes in here. I'm going to just, what we're going to do now is we're just going to let this go down. You can see it's already at -10, but it's coming out at 2 degrees here. So what I'm going to do is I'll be letting this run a bit, and I'm going to bring in more food from the other plants so we can see how that works. Right, we're coming back here, and let's have a look at how it looks. We are coming in at -30 degrees and coming back at -17 degrees. So things should be cold enough as it is right now. We can look at what we have here. This is if we have some storage. For example, here we have some storage here. We can see this is only -7 degrees by now, -14 degrees, so it's already refrigerated, but it's not getting anywhere further down. Let's have a look at these. -17 cooked seafood. It is refrigerated. Once it gets to -18 degrees, then we should be seeing that it changes to being frozen instead of there we go. Just as we looked at it, -18 degrees, it is now frozen, and we have 0 change. That means this cooked seafood will never go bad. And I also see to not have hit the muck root in this one, so we'll just get muck root. Another good idea is to keep the priority for these as low as possible, so that we don't have the stuff that drops out here being taken by the dupes into the refrigerators. We want that to be done by the auto sweeper, because it's so low priority. But of course, if they have nothing else to do, then sure, they're going to do it. That is basically it for this little guide. It's not a big build, it's not a complicated build, but it's something that'll really save you a lot of trouble. I've heard comments about like, oh, why don't you just make a bit more room here and not have 2? But they need to be able to go down to both of them so they can reach more of this location. This will be enough for more than 1 million food, probably like 1.5, maybe 2 million even. So that's not really going to be a problem for this. What else is there to say? Well, I also need to have these so that they can skip over, and then you can see how fast they move back and forth. So that's also something that's super important, because if they come down here and then go to this location, I don't want them to be slowed down very much. You can see how fast they actually go down and get stuff. They don't have to go very far, just down there and then grab it. So that's how it is. I'm really happy with this build, and it's just really something I'm going to be, from now on, I'm going to be building this thing as early as possible. I won't be building with steel, but I'll build it with something else, and then maybe add the thermal regulator later on. But it's definitely my go-to new design here. I tried some of those infinite storage that you can build, but I really feel that they're more trouble than they're worth, to be honest, in terms of sort of setting them up and getting them running, and making sure that the stuff that goes into the electrical and stuff that comes out of the electrical are managed. So I like this. It's has automatic cooling. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can hit the like button if you like, if you appreciate it, or if you enjoyed it. But also I would encourage you to check out some of my other guides here on YouTube. I have quite a few tutorials for Oxygen not included, and I am always making more. So every time I come up with a new design, or we come up with a new design together in our Twitch streams, then I'll be making it as a tutorial here on YouTube. So take a look at the playlist, or also come on over to Twitch and be part of the design process. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, take care, and as always, stay effective.